Bro, what did I read this month? I'm pulling up the Goodreads. Oh, wait. Some of these I read on my Kindle, but I own them. You. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. These are all the books that I read in the month of June. I read so many good books this month, like an absurd amount of good books. I think 5 were 5-star reads and 3 or 4 of them were 4.5-star reads. It was a fantastic month. I'm gonna go in order of the way I read them. First, I read Self-Love for Small Town Girls. This is just a poetry book. I rated this book 5 stars. When it comes to rating poetry books, it's a little bit, I normally give them 5 stars if I resonate with them a lot. I resonated a lot with this book. It was very simplistic poetry. That's what I loved about it. I read all of this in an entire day, and the way it was written felt like it was something that I would write. And I love that when it comes to poetry. I want to feel like it's coming from me while I'm reading it, and I love relating to it, so I recommend it. This just came out in early June. Next up, Fourth Wing. In my 24-hour reading blog, I read this book, and I also did an entire podcast episode on this book, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I am going to briefly explain it. I rated this book 5 stars. Absolutely devoured it. It gave me Divergent meets House of the Dragon. I loved it. I was surprised with how good it was. She put you back. Next, I read Until I Get You. I also read this book in my 24-hour reading challenge. This is a hockey romance. It's supposed to be a revenge romance, but I would say the revenge was a lot lighter than I thought it would be. After reading the back, I thought the revenge that was coming for the FMC from the MMC, I thought it would be like super harsh. And it was harsh, but it wasn't as harsh as I thought it would be. But that's okay. You know, still loved it. I rated this book 4.5 stars, I believe. What did I rate this book? Oh, I gave it 4 stars. Okay, and the last book that I read in the 24-hour reading vlog was the Mind series. I don't own this, but I need to buy it. This book was incredible. I gave it 5 stars. FBI meets like a romance book. It's considered a, what's it called? It's considered an erotica. I don't think it was like that erotic, so maybe don't label it that, Amazon, but it had romance in it. It was a little spicy, but the FBI side of things, the criminal side of things was amazing. Lana Myers, she's a serial killer, and she's dating the FBI agent who is like head on the case. I can't shut up about this book. I love the dynamic of the FBI agent dating a serial killer and he doesn't know. Like, something about that is so genius. And what an iconic story. I thought it was amazing. Next, I read Picking Peaches. This cover is adorable. I really enjoyed this book, but the only thing I will say about it is when it ended, I was looking for the next chapters. Like, it ended and everything that I read was good, but I wish and I needed for it to have like 100 more pages. Because it ended and I was like, did my Kindle not download the rest of the book? Because there was no third act breakup. It was like they got together and then it was over. Like, there wasn't too much after that. Like, they got together, it wasn't there. I loved it and I thought it was a very fun read and I do recommend it. It is a, one of the tropes. It's like 210 pages. Neighbor is the trope. Single dad is a trope. And if you're wanting something very cute and mindless and you just really don't want to use your brain and you want to read a romance book, then I do recommend this. However, when you finish it, you will probably feel the same way as me and you'll be like, wait, I need more. I need you to give me 100 more pages. Oh my god. Next, I read Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This is my first book that I've ever read by Tara DeWitt, and I was shocked with how good it was. The cover is adorable. This book is also considered to be on pre-order because I think it's now going through a publishing company. Previously, it was an independent book, so when I recommended this book on TikTok, everybody's like, where did you get it? It says on pre-order. You gotta wait to buy the cover, but it is free on Kindle Unlimited, so you can read it on there. That's where I read it. It's 2 comedians. It's an age gap romance. The MMC is the girl's manager. He used to be a comedian, still is, but he's like kind of retired or whatever. He has a daughter who is deaf, so there's deaf representation within this book, which I absolutely loved. It was also freaking hilarious and one of the best romance books I read this year. The next book that I read was Reckless by Elsie Silver. I need to buy the independent cover before it goes out because I believe Elsie Silver is now going through Bloom Publishing And so all of her books are getting republished and the independent covers aren't going to be available after a certain date. I own all 3 of the first books in this interconnected series. They're up there and they're gorgeous. I need to buy this one before it goes out because I will cry if I don't get it. Theo is daddy. Theo is a daddy and is daddy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you don't like the pregnancy trope, if you don't like secret baby, I think you're wrong. I think you need to reevaluate. I think you need to go sit in a corner and stare at the wall and think through all your decisions in life. I think you need to give it another shot because this was amazing. This was so good. Winter has a one-night stand with Theo, has a baby. She thinks he wants nothing to do with the kid, and she's a single mom raising this kid. Dude, this was like absurdly good. I feel the need to pull out like every good adjective out of my to compliment this book because that's how wonderful it was. Did I rate this 5 stars? I think I rated this 5 stars. Dude, Theo, man. Oh my God. Also, Winter is a bitch when she gets overwhelmed, and I have never related to anything more. I become a bitch when I'm overwhelmed. When I'm overstimulated, I become a bitch. And so you know what I do? You know the healthy thing that I do? I don't put myself in situations to where I will be a bitch to someone who does not deserve it. And I don't mean to take it out on you, and it's not fair for me to put you in that situation and take it out on you because you don't deserve that. So I relate to Winter a lot, and I love her. The next book that I read was a reread. I read Beach Read by Elsie Sol. What? Like glitched in my brain. I read Beach Read by Emily Henry. Also did a vlog on this book. However, that vlog does have spoilers in it, so if you haven't read this book, do not watch it. The entire thing will be spoiled for you. I gave Beach Read 5 stars. It's kind of my favorite book I've ever read in my life. It's kind of, a masterpiece. What's a, like, really important, like, Penguin's classic book? I don't know. Why was I gonna say the Declaration of Independence? That's my national anthem. Also, my friend Catherine, who I gave the annotated book to, finally started reading it. She's been texting me. She sent me, let's see. Oh, that's gonna spoil. Okay. So actually I can't tell you what she sent me because she's giving me updates on the book as she goes. However, she did send me a song that is apparently so Beach Read coded. And it's called Tell Me About You by The Sun. And then I texted back and I sent a song. And I sent this one. This isn't a spoiler, this is more of an enticer, but if you want to skip the next 15 seconds, do it. And I said, this is me when Gus said, when I look at you, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. The next book that I read was Black Sheep by Bryn Weaver. It looks like this. So I was recommended to read this book because I liked the Mind series. This might have been right book, wrong time. I don't know if I just didn't give this the attention it deserved, but I didn't absolutely love it. It kept losing my train of thought, and I don't even remember what it's about. Oh, I remember it. Well, the FMC is a serial killer, and the MMC is a professor. And she's after this one specific guy to like take him down. And turns out the professor is kind of after the same guy, except he's not a killer. I still think it was an interesting read and I still recommend it, and I probably will reread it in the future when I'm not in a space that's like, there's so much going on in my head, because I might give it the attention it deserves, but I ended up rating it like 3.25 stars. The next book that I read was Minx by Sophie Lark. This just came out and Sophie Lark put her whole everything into this book. I read this book, well, let's pause. The spice in this book, it made me reevaluate everything. It really did. It's spicy. It is spicy. And sometimes I read a billionaire romance because it's a billionaire romance and I'm like, F you, man. Like, I know this is fiction, but like, why you need all that money? I'm like that in real life. But I read this and I was like, billionaire? A billionaire. This book was amazing. This might just be my favorite book by Sophie Lark. The next book that I read was, oh wait, did I say what I rated Minx? Rated Minx 4.5 stars. close to 5. Might be getting to 5. Let me process it for a little bit longer. Okay, the next book that I read was Crimson River by Devney Perry. I gave this book 3 stars. This is a part of the interconnected standalone series, The Edens. I just felt like Vance and Lila, the 2 main characters in the book, I felt like they had no chemistry. At the beginning of the book, I think this is on the back of the book, so it's not a spoiler. Let me check. Lila gets like choked out on a hike at the beginning of the book. She ends up surviving. Vance comes into town because he thinks that the guy who choked her is like a criminal he's been searching for. And so they don't even really hit it off. They kind of, I think, are trauma bonded a little bit, and then they start fucking around. And I just felt like nothing was actually clicking with them. So I didn't love this book. Give it 3 stars. Oh my god. Next I read Done and Dusted. Brother's Best Friend. Listen, I have a brother. Rush, that's my brother's name. He got the fun name. Rush, if you're watching this, which you're not because you don't watch my videos, and that's okay. I need you to get some hot friends, Rush. I'm serious. Like, it is my time to freaking shine. Dude, Luke Brooks, the MMC in this book, he was a simp, man. Like, he was so down bad for Emmy, and I ate it up. This is a shorter book, too, so I went into it, and I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. Oh my god, I devoured it. I read it an entire day. It's like 260 pages, maybe. It is very good, and I love it. Some people said that the name of the FMC, her original name is Clementine, but she goes by Emmy. People were like, that's kind of cringy. Listen, get over it. Go touch some grass. It'll be okay. I thought Clementine was cute. The next book that I read was Marrow. This was also a recommendation that I got because I read the Mind series. This is about 2 serial killers who are killing in the same town, same area, and then they, boom, come together. And then they start, like, I don't know. They're the love interest. That's all I'm gonna say. I felt the same way about this book as I did Black Sheep. There was a lot of good depth to it. Maybe because I was recommended these books after reading like the Mind series and that being what my brain was thinking about going into it. Maybe that's why I didn't absolutely love them. I rated this one 3.5 stars. I recommend it. It is very dark and a little bit gory. So at moments I was like, oh my god, very interesting dynamic, and it was crazy. I will say that. Like 2 serial killers. And the last book that I read is the book that my book club read for this month. And I rated this book 2.5 stars. I would love to say I'm a person that can go for smut, no plot, and sometimes I can. But this time I couldn't. I didn't love this book. I think the spice was really good. I will say that. The spice was chef's kiss. It was great. However, it was like, someone said this in my book club actually. I don't remember who it is, but if I figure it out, I will put whoever they are right here. They said, sex, why am I doing this? This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. Sex, why am I doing this? This is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. And then repeat. Like, it just kept, he's a priest. How the did you become a priest, my guy? I don't know the qualifications, but you're not it. I can say that. If you want a fun, very spicy read, this. I did hear the rest of the books in the series are way better than the first one. What is the second one? Sinner? Is it about a nun? I'm gonna fact check myself right here. I think it's about a nun and Tyler's brother. Maybe? I don't know. I actually have no idea. Those are all the books that I read in the month of June. If you want to see the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of July, or at least some of them that I'm going to be reading, I did a video of TBR jar picks my reads, so go watch that. And thank you guys so much for watching my reading wrap up for the month of June. I'll see you next week.